Marketing tells you alcohol is sophisticated, but science proves it is a diluted poison that dismantles your body in more than 50 specific ways. Today, we are stripping away the lies to look at the biological reality of how this drug destroys your brain and organs. And very quickly, if you want instant access to a brand new video training that I've just finished showing you how to control alcohol in as little as 48 hours, then click the link in the description. This new method is not about using willpower therapy or AA meetings. It's totally different. I do not publish this video anywhere else online, and it's already changing thousands of lives. So click the link below for instant access. Once you're on the next page, enter your name and email address, and your free training will begin. It takes just 7 minutes to watch, but it'll feel like somebody flicks a switch in your brain. And honestly, I'm not sure when I'll start charging for this 7-minute video training. That's how good it is. But whilst it's still available, click the link below, enter your name and email address, and watch that video now. We are starting with the control center, your brain, because what happens there is disturbing. The brain and nervous system assault. When you take that first sip, you think you are relaxing. You think you are taking the edge off, but biological reality is brutal. Ethanol is a neurotoxin. That means it targets nerve cells. It doesn't just buzz them, it attacks them. Here is exactly what is happening inside your skull. 1, it shrinks your hippocampus. Your hippocampus is the part of your brain responsible for learning and memory. Science shows that heavy drinking literally shrinks this part of the brain. Think about a grape turning into a raisin. That is your memory center on ethanol. This is why you forget names, forget conversations, or wake up wondering what you said last night. You aren't just forgetful. You are chemically damaging the hard drive of your brain. 2, it atrophies gray matter. Gray matter is where the real processing happens. It's where you think, speak, and process information. Alcohol causes this tissue to waste away. I remember days where I felt like my brain was in a fog, like I was moving through mud. That wasn't just a hangover, that was a loss of cognitive power. When you quit, this can heal, but you have to stop pouring the solvent on it first. 3, it disrupts dopamine. This is the big trick. Alcohol floods your brain with dopamine, which is the feel-good chemical. But it's a loan shark. It gives you a high now, but then it crashes your natural levels later. You end up feeling lower than before you started drinking. You drink to feel normal, not even to feel good. You are chasing a ghost. 4, the GABA crash. Anxiety rebound. Alcohol enhances the activity of GABA, a chemical that calms you down. That's why you feel relaxed at first. But your brain is smart. It realizes there is too much calm, so it downregulates natural GABA. When the alcohol wears off, you have 0 calm left. This is why you wake up at 3 a.m. with your heart racing and your mind full of worry. We call it hangxiety, but it is chemically induced panic, peripheral neuropathy. This one is nasty. Alcohol damages the nerves in your hands and feet. It can feel like burning, pins and needles, or total numbness. It happens because the toxic breakdown of alcohol hurts the nerve fibers. Imagine walking around feeling like your feet are on fire. That is the reality for long-term drinkers. 6, increases dementia risk. We aren't just talking about old age forgetfulness. We are talking about early onset dementia. Alcohol-related brain damage is one of the main causes of dementia in younger people, often as young as their 30 seconds or 40 seconds. You are essentially fast-forwarding the aging process of your mind. 7, impairs executive function. This is the part of your brain that makes decisions. It tells you, maybe I shouldn't text my ex, or I should save this money. Alcohol shuts this down. It is why we make such terrible choices when we drink. I've worked with high-level business owners who are brilliant, but after 2 drinks, they make decisions that cost them thousands. It's not a lack of character, it's a malfunction of the brain. 8, Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. This is extreme, but it happens. It's a severe lack of vitamin B1 caused by drinking. It leads to confusion, vision changes, and chronic memory loss. It is often called wet brain. It is tragic and is entirely preventable. 9, disrupts sleep architecture. 4, you think it helps you sleep? It doesn't. It knocks you out. That is sedation, not sleep. Alcohol blocks REM sleep, that part of your sleep cycle where you dream. It also leaves you dehydrated and likely to wake up in the middle of the night, unable to fall asleep again. 10, slows reaction time. The communication between your brain and your body slows down. This is why driving is so dangerous, but it also affects your work, your sports, and your daily life. You are literally operating on a lag. Now, damaging the computer that runs your life is bad enough, but you might be thinking, well, at least it helps my heart. I heard red wine is good for you. That is one of the biggest myths ever. Wait until you see what it actually does to your blood. Heart and blood betrayal. There is a lot of old marketing out there saying alcohol is heart healthy. When you look at the modern science, that idea falls apart. Ethanol is a cardiovascular toxin. 5, it stresses your heart, hardens your vessels, and messes with your blood chemistry. 11, hypertension spikes. This is high blood pressure. Alcohol constricts your blood vessels. Your heart has to pump harder to move blood around. Over time, this pressure damages the arteries. I had a guy join the program who was on 2 different blood pressure meds. 2 months after quitting, his doctor took him off both. It wasn't genetic, it was the bottle. 12, atrial fibrillation. They call this holiday heart. You binge drink on a weekend or a holiday, and your heart starts beating out of rhythm. It flutters. It feels like a fish flopping in your chest. It increases your risk of stroke massively, and it is terrifying when it happens to you. 13, cardiomyopathy. This is where the heart muscle gets weak and stretches out. It can't pump blood effectively. As a result, your organs don't get enough oxygen. You get breathless just walking upstairs. It's heart failure, plain and simple, caused by a beverage. 14, stroke risk rises. Heavy drinking significantly increases your risk of stroke, both from a clot and from a bleed in the brain. That high blood pressure and those alcohol-triggered rhythm problems we mentioned earlier are 2 big reasons behind this increased risk. 15, high cholesterol, triglycerides. People worry about eating eggs or butter, but then they drink 3 beers. When you drink alcohol, your liver turns it into fat. This shoots your triglycerides, blood fats, through the roof. It clogs your arteries faster than a cheeseburger ever could. 16, sudden cardiac death. This statistic is scary. The odds of your heart just stopping sudden cardiac death double with heavy drinking. It's usually due to an electrical issue in the heart caused by the toxicity of the alcohol. 17, blood clotting chaos. Alcohol confuses your blood. Sometimes it makes it too thin, leading to bleeding. Other times, typically after a binge, it makes it sticky, leading to clots. You are rolling the dice every time. 18, anemia. Alcohol suppresses your bone marrow. That is where you make red blood cells. Fewer red blood cells mean less oxygen carrying capacity. This leads to anemia. You look pale, you feel tired, and you have no energy. 19, thrombocytopenia. This is a fancy word for low platelets. Platelets help your blood clot when you get a cut. Alcohol destroys them. This is why you might notice you bruise easily or your gums bleed when you brush your teeth. 20, macrocytosis. This is where your red blood cells get huge and ineffective. It's a classic sign doctors look for in blood tests to spot a heavy drinker. These oversized cells are often a sign your blood isn't carrying oxygen properly, which leaves you constantly fatigued. So your brain is shrinking and your heart is struggling to pump, but the organ that takes the biggest beating is the one designed to filter poisons. But even it has a breaking point. What happens next in your gut is not just unhealthy, it is honestly disgusting. Liver and gut punch. We all know alcohol hurts the liver, but we don't really think about what that means. The liver is your filter. It cleans your blood. When you pour ethanol into it, it has to drop everything else, fat burning, detoxing other things, to deal with the alcohol, because alcohol is an emergency poison. 21, fatty liver, steatosis. This happens to almost everyone who drinks heavily. 90% of heavy drinkers have this. Your liver cells literally fill up with fat. The liver gets huge and swollen. The good news? It's reversible if you stop. When I was drinking, I remember seeing my face in photos puffy, bloated. That was inflammation starting in the liver and showing up on my face. 22, alcoholic hepatitis. This isn't a virus. This is chronic inflammation of the liver caused by booze. Your liver gets red, swollen, and painful. It leads to fever, jaundice, yellow skin, and vomiting. It is your liver screaming for help. 23, cirrhosis. This is the point of no return. Healthy liver tissue is replaced by hard scar tissue. The liver becomes like a rock. It can't filter blood anymore. Once you have cirrhosis, you can't fix it. You can only manage it. and usually not for long. 24. Liver cancer. When you damage cells over and over, they mutate. 08. The risk of hepatocellular carcinoma, liver cancer, is twice as high, higher in heavy drinkers. It is one of the deadliest cancers out there. 25. Pancreatitis. Ask any doctor about the most painful thing a human can experience, and they will mention acute pancreatitis. The pancreas starts digesting itself. It is agonizing, and alcohol is a top cause. It can become chronic, meaning you live in pain forever. 26. GERD flares. Alcohol relaxes the little valve between your stomach and your throat. Acid splashes up. You get heartburn. You get that lump in your throat. Your risk of reflux goes up sharply. You end up popping antacids, not realizing the beer is the cause. 27. GI bleeding. Alcohol tears up the stomach lining. It causes gastritis and ulcers. If these rupture, you bleed internally. This is a medical emergency. Vomiting blood is a horror movie scene nobody wants to live through. 28. Intestinal barrier leak. This is leaky gut. Alcohol dissolves the tight seals in your intestines. Bacteria and toxins that should stay in your poop leak out into your bloodstream. Your body's literally being poisoned by its own waste. This causes massive inflammation everywhere. 29. Microbiome wipeout. Your gut has trillions of good bacteria that keep you happy and healthy. Alcohol knocks them out of balance. It causes dysbiosis, where bad bacteria take over. This affects your mood, your digestion, and your immunity. 30. Malnutrition. Even if you eat perfectly, alcohol gets in the way of absorbing nutrients. It interferes with B vitamins like thiamine and folate. You are starving your body of what it needs, even on a full stomach. So your filter is broken and your gut is leaking toxins into your blood. What does that do? It shuts down your defense system. You might think you just catch colds easily. The reality is much darker. Immune and cancer onslaught. This is the stuff that really shocked me when I did the research. We think of alcohol as just a drink, but the World Health Organization classifies it as a Group 1 carcinogen. That is the same category as asbestos and tobacco. There is no safe amount of asbestos, and there is no safe amount of alcohol. 31. White blood cells drop. Alcohol weakens your immune system. It reduces how many white blood cells you produce and makes the ones you have slow and ineffective. Your defenses are literally drunk, which is why infections become far more common in heavy drinkers. 32. Pneumonia risk. Because your immune system is weak, you are much more likely to get lung infections. And when you do get them, they are more severe. You are more likely to be hospitalized, stay in hospital longer, and eventually die. 33. ARDS. Lung failure. This is acute respiratory distress syndrome. If you get sick or have trauma, heavy drinkers are much more likely to have their lungs just fail. The fluid builds up and you can't breathe. 34. Wound healing stalls. Have you ever noticed a cut takes forever to heal when you are drinking? Alcohol shuts down the cytokines needed for repair. Your body loses the ability to fix itself efficiently. 35. Oral and pharyngeal cancer. Alcohol washes over your mouth and throat. It damages the DNA in those cells. The risk of mouth and throat cancer skyrockets. It is a direct contact poison. 36. Esophageal cancer. This cancer has some of the worst survival rates in medicine. Heavy drinking greatly increases your risk of developing it, and the outcomes for people who drink heavily are even poorer. This is one of the cancers where alcohol leaves a real body count. 37. Breast cancer. This is something nobody tells women. The risk of breast cancer increases by 4% with just one drink a day. It's dose dependent. The more you drink, the higher the risk. It messes with estrogen levels, fueling cancer growth. 38. Colorectal cancer. Remember that leaky gut and microbiome damage? It leads to colon cancer. Moderate to heavy drinkers are 1.2 to 1, 5 times more likely to get this. It is silent and it is deadly. 39. Systemic inflammation. This is the root of many diseases. Alcohol increases CRP, C-reactive protein. Your body is in a constant state of red alert. This inflammation drives aging, heart disease, and depression. 40. Accelerates aging. Telomeres. Telomeres are the caps on the end of your DNA strands, like the plastic tips on shoelaces. They keep your DNA from fraying. Alcohol shortens them. This means you age faster on a cellular level. You look older, you feel older, and you die sooner. We have covered the brain, the heart, the organs, and cancer. But this final list, this hits the hidden things. The things that control your mood, your strength, and your very identity as a man or a woman. If you care about how you perform in life, in the bedroom, the gym, or the office, you need to hear this. Hormones, bones, and hidden havoc. This section is about quality of life. You might survive the drinking, but what kind of life are you living? Are you strong? Are you vibrant? Or are you weak, brittle, and tired? Alcohol is an endocrine disruptor. It smashes your hormonal system. 41. Type 2 diabetes risk shoots up. Alcohol causes insulin resistance. Your body can't handle sugar properly. Plus, alcohol harms the pancreas, which makes insulin. The risk of type 2 diabetes shoots up. I see so many guys come in with pre-diabetes. They quit drinking, the weight falls off, and their blood sugar stabilizes. It looks like magic, but it's just biology. 42. Testosterone drop. For the men out there, alcohol is a testosterone predator. It converts testosterone into estrogen. This eliminates your drive, your muscle mass, and your libido. If you want to feel like a man, putting down the bottle is the best performance enhancer there is. 43. Thyroid disruption. Your thyroid runs your metabolism. Alcohol slows it down. This is why you feel sluggish, cold, and gain weight that you can't lose. You are dampening your body's internal fire. 44. Osteoporosis. This isn't just for older people. Alcohol stops your body from building new bone. Your bone density drops. You become brittle. 45. If you have ever had gout, you know the pain. It's like a shard of glass in your toe. Alcohol, especially beer, spikes uric acid. The risk is much higher for drinkers. It is misery in a joint. 46. Muscle myopathy. You go to the gym, but you don't see results. Why? Alcohol causes muscle atrophy. In advanced alcohol dependence, the muscles can literally waste away. 47. Fractures. Because your bones are weaker and your balance is off, you are going to fall and break something. Hip fractures in drinkers are common and can irreversibly affect the quality of your life. 48. Fetal alcohol spectrum. This is crucial if you are a woman planning a family. If you drink during pregnancy, you risk causing permanent brain damage to the baby. It is 100% preventable. 49. Chronic pain. This is ironic. You drink to numb the pain, but alcohol actually makes your nervous system more sensitive to pain over time. It's called hyperalgesia. Your aches and pains feel twice as bad when you are in the cycle of drinking. Perioperative death. This means dying during surgery. If you need an operation for anything, and you are a heavy drinker, your risk of complications or death soars. Your heart, your clotting, and your immune system just can't handle the stress of surgery.